Radio Lewes. Local webcasting for a worldwide audience.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Radio Lewes, where the music matters, and this is Saturday Live. My name's Ben Fuller. Hopefully I will have a guest later today. He's not here yet, so we keep our fingers crossed. But we've got all the usual stuff. We've got some great music. We've got the shameless self-promotion. I've got a couple of great interviews. We'll have the gig guide and all the other gibberish from me. Oh, let's just crack on with the music.
She was mine, she looked so good. I wanna hold her tight. Get teenage kicks right through the night. I'm gonna call her on the telephone. Have her over 'cause I'm all alone. I need excitement, oh I need it bad. And it's the best I've ever had. I wanna hold her tight. Get teenage kicks right through. She was mine, she looked so good. I wanna hold her tight. Get teenage kicks right through the night. I'm gonna call her on the telephone. Have her over 'cause I'm all alone. I need excitement, oh I need it bad. And it's the best I've ever had. I wanna hold her tight. Get teenage kicks right through.
The Undertones' debut single there from 1978. I apologise. Single button's not on. You got a little taste from what's coming next there. Yes, the Undertones' debut single released June 1978. And can you believe that wasn't originally on the debut album, The Undertones? It was on the 1979 re-release, along with Get Over You. Also, that only reached number 31 in the UK singles charts. Can you believe that? I've given up trying to work out how the chart system works. Anyway, while I try and get myself in some sort of organisation, you can have the jam. It's going well here, isn't it? That wasn't the jam. That was Teenage Kicks again. This is the jam.
Time is short and life is good.
There you go, we got there in the end. A town called Malice. And that one did get a number one on the UK singles charts in February 1982. From the album The Gift. And according to Paul Weller, that was written about his hometown Woking as a result of his teenage experiences there. And the title is a play on words of the 1950 Neville Shute novel, A Town Like Alice. Although apparently he said he had not read the book at the time. He just liked the title. More music now, this is Blondie.
I'm in the phone booth, it's the one across the hall. If you don't answer, I'll just ring it off the wall. I know he's there, but I just tried to call. Leave me hanging on the telephone. Leave me hanging on the telephone. I heard your mother, now she's going out the door. Did she go to work or just go to the store? All those things she said I told you to ignore. Oh, why can't we talk again? Oh, why can't we talk again? Oh, why can't we talk again? Leave me hanging on the telephone. Leave me hanging on the telephone. It's good to hear your voice, you know it's been so long. If I don't get your calls, then everything goes wrong. I want to tell you something you've known all along. Leave me hanging on the telephone. I had to interrupt and stop this conversation. Your voice across the line gives me a strange sensation. I like to talk when I can show you my affection. Oh, I can't control myself. Oh, I can't control myself. Oh, I can't control myself. Leave me hanging on the telephone. Hang up and run. Oh, hang up and run. Oh, hang up and run. Oh, hang up and run. Oh,
Hanging on the Telephone, originally written by Jack Lee and was first performed by his short-lived US West Coast power pop band The Nerves. And later, in '78, it was recorded and released as a single by Blondie. And that was on their album Parallel Lines. Got one more for you, and then I'm going to play you a bit of our shameless self-promotion. This is The Clash.
Our king told the boogeyman, you have to let that rocket drop. The oil down the desert way has been shaken to the top. it's cool to think this charming thing. But as the wind changed direction and the people ran to fire, the crowd got a whiff like crazy campfire. The king called up his jet fighters. He said, "You better run your play. Drop your bombs between the minarets down the Casbah way." As soon as the sheriff should put out of there, the jet pilots tuned to the cockpit radio blare. As soon as the sheriff was out of their hair, the jet pilots way. Thinks it's not kosher. Fundamentally can't take it. You know he really hates
From 1982, Rock the Casbah was the third single from Combat Rock, their fifth studio album. It made number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts in the US, and it was their second to last top 40 and only top 10 single. Along with the track Mustafa Dance, it also reached number 8 on the dance charts. Now, while I try and sort myself out here, you are going to follow the Vapor Trail. I'm in the studio with Steve Brooks. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Ben. You're right.
Steve came to Radio Lewes to a Pass It On show, but he's part of the band that kicked off our Radio Lewes live sessions, the Dead Sea Scouts. And he'd been in contact with our lovely Soraya about doing the radio show, and unfortunately she was ill and passed away. So I did the Pass It On show with you. And from that, you invented your Vapor Trail show.
Yeah. Basically, I had such a good time in here, actually, doing the Pass It On and kind of playing music I liked. And then we kind of chatted, and I begged and pleaded, and eventually you gave in. So, I came up with Vapor Trails, which is basically, the idea was to look at the influences on punk music. And basically, from talking with friends and different things, it's kind of been an ongoing chat I've had for a number of years, and it's kind of like, okay, well, let's see what we can do. And to be honest, it's been fantastic. So, been finding lots and lots of things that I didn't know before. I mean, for instance, we did in one of the early shows a band called Death, who were like 3 black guys from Detroit playing punk music long before the Ramones, and that was just fantastic. So, it's been really, really cool. And, thanks to Radio Lewes for letting me carry on with it, basically.
Well, it's a pleasure, Steve. Where did your love of punk come from?
Well, the funny thing is, I was a little bit too young for punk in the sense I was 10 when the Sex Pistols were on Bill Grundy and things like that. But the next day, we all read about it at school, at junior school. We had a friend called Gimbo who could read better than the rest of us, and Gimbo read out the transcript, and we just thought that was hilarious. But yeah, looking back on it, I think, and I can prove this with an Etch-a-Sketch and about 7 cans of cider, that Anarchy in the UK is probably the most important single ever released in my lifetime, and that's just for the sheer effect it had. What punk did changed everything, at least in this country, musically, and I really love that. But it's also from doing this show as well, finding all those influences of things that I love as well. So kind of mods, soul, ska, Motown, everything else, all that stuff kind of came through in punk as well. So, yes, ongoing love affair, I guess.
Well, you had an influence of sort of controversial music from your dad, didn't you? Because he was a Teddy boy.
Controversial, yeah, I guess so, yeah. Yes,
rock and roll was controversial when it hit.
Yeah. There was a brilliant story about my dad is that he wanted to get a suit made, and back in the day, you had to go to a tailor and get your drapes made, and he went and got a quote, and he came back to his dad, and they both worked in a sawmill together, and my dad said, I need a few shillings to put down on this thing. And my granddad, Ernie, said, not unless you cut that effing hair. And my dad said, oh, well, I'll go and save up myself. Well, words to that effect. And that's what he did, yes. Yes, controversial it was, definitely, yes.
Yes, indeed. Now, I mentioned the band, the Dead Sea Scouts. How are things going with the band you've just released?
Well, we're on the verge of releasing something. We've actually decided to take the summer off and kind of, because there's 5 of us in the band. Again, 5 of us in the same room at the same time is quite difficult. And so we did some recording a couple of months ago, and that came out really, really well. So that's kind of waiting there to do something with. Unfortunately, we did lose a bass player, which was very careless of us. Probably fell down the back of the sofa somewhere. So we've got another guy in, Rob, and he's fantastic. He's really, really good bass player. And he's also brought the average age of the band down by about 10 years, I think.
We've had some discussions about where your show could go and other things we could do. So what future plans have you got for Radio Lewes?
My benign dictatorship. Basically, with Vapor Trails, we've been looking at the influences of punk, and the last show that I did, we were looking at the covers that punk bands did, so we looked at the kind of originals. The one that I'm going to be recording this time round will actually be the punks playing those covers, and then we'll be looking at covers of punk songs. So there's a lot of scope to go with it, and I've actually got a couple of people that are interested in coming in and talking about post-punk, so there's a show there already lined up, waiting to go. But basically, we can take it and look at influences of anything, so it doesn't have to be punk. A couple of people have asked me to do one on influences on two-tone, so that'd be pretty cool as well.
There'd be a fair bit of punk in that.
A fair bit of punk in that, yeah, as well. And also, I know that you've asked me to pop in on the rock show at some point, and we'll talk about punk and metal. And again, that's a huge crossover there and loads of stuff. So, yeah, we could just see where it goes. And that's kind of the idea about the name, really, Vapor Trails. It'll just go anywhere, really.
Brilliant. Steve, thank you so much for giving me your time.
Cheers, Ben.
Great to see you. Thank you. Bye-bye. And you can hear a new Vapor Trails show every other Thursday. In fact, the latest one will be published at 5 p.m. this coming Thursday. Steve Brooks and Vapor Trails there. On with the music now. This is Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Back in 60, waiting this way. child did your name, but I never knew like we knew me and you were the same. And now you're all over, your song is so tame. You fed me, you bred me, I remember your name. I can tell the inspiration you would not go the other, the fight of the one. Now just look at me as I'm looking down on you. No, I'm not being flash, it's what I'm good to do.
Gino there from Dexys from 1980. Written by Kevin Archer and Kevin Rowland. The band's second single and their first UK number one, staying at the top of the singles charts for 2 weeks. And it was on the album Searching for the Young Soul Rebels. Next today we've got a bit of Teardrop Explodes and Reward. That's not Teardrop Explodes, is it? No, I've done it again. This is Squeeze.
Out on a windy common, that night I ain't forgotten. When she dealt out the rations with some or other passions, I said, you are a lady. Perhaps she said, I may be. We moved into a basement with thoughts of our engagement. We stayed in by the telly, although the room was smelly. We spent our time just kissing. The railway arms were missing, but love had got us hooked up, and all our time it took up. I got a job with Stanley. He said I'd come in handy, and started me on Monday, so I had a bath on Sunday. I worked 11 hours and bought the girl some flowers. She said she'd seen a doctor, and nothing now could stop her. I worked all through the winter, the weather bright and bitter. I put away a tenner each week to make her better. And when the time was ready, we had to sell the telly. Late evenings by the fire, and little kicks inside her. This morning at 4:50, I took her rather nifty down to an incubator. But 30 minutes later, she gave birth to a daughter. Within a year, a walker. She looked just like a mother, if there could be another. And now she's 2 years older. Her mother's with a soldier. She left me when my drinking became a proper stinging. The devil came and took me from bar to street to bookie. No more nights by the telly, no more nights nappy smelling. Alone here in the kitchen, I feel there's something missing. I beg for some forgiveness, but begging's not my business. And she won't write a letter, although I always tell her. And so it's my assumption I'm really up the junction.
up the junction there from Squeeze, from the third single released from the second album, Call for Cats. I've just had a bit of a rude message from Si asking me if this is a Spice Girls special. If it was, I'd probably have fainted by now and recover later in the day. Okay, let's have a bit of the gig guide. I've just had confirmation that my guest is on his way in. This started yesterday, Friday the 12th, and carries on today. Leaky Buckets, charity gigs in aid of the Chestnut Tree House, Cash Bar and Handmade Pizzas. That's Iford Town Hall, 7:30, and it's free. Again this evening, Cohen, Braithwaite, Kilcoyne, Folk at Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m, £7 a ticket for that. And Chelsea are punking up the Con Club tonight, 9 p.m. I know tickets are still available, and Si should be at that one. Sunday the 14th, Nick Turner's Space Ritual. They're at the Con Club, 7:30, $16.50 a ticket. There's a write-up in Viva Lewes on page 47 if you're interested. Monday the 15th, Christabel, Dream Pop at the Con Club, 7:30, and that's £18. And Ben Chatworthy and the John Donaldson Trio, that's Jazz at the Snowdrop at 8 p.m, and that one's free. Wednesday the 17th sees Johnny Dowd, Alternative Country at the Con Club at 7:30 and £15 for that one. Thursday the 18th, John Fairhurst, Blues Rock at the Con Club, 9 o'clock. I haven't got a price on that one. Friday the 19th, Dennis Primmitt and Peter Mahoey. I think that's how you say it. I do apologise if I'm wrong. Background Jazz at the Half Moon, Plumpton, 7 p.m, and that one's free. We do like these free gigs. Saturday the 20th, Songs for Spring, a folk open night, Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m, and that one's £4 a ticket. Sunday the 21st and Monday the 22nd see Sun Ra Orchestra, legendary jazz troupe, return to Lewes. They're at the Con Club, 8 p.m, and that's £25.50, and the last time they're here, they did sell out. Monday the 22nd, Jeff Simpkins, jazz alto sax player at the Snowdrop, 8 p.m, and again our favourite price. Tuesday the 23rd sees Joey Landreth and band, roots rock guitar and vocals at the Con Club, 7:30 and £15. And there's an English tunes practice session for any instrument, except for size kazoo, of course. English traditional folk at Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m, and it's free. Thursday the 25th sees Slaughter and the Dogs punking up the Con Club at 7:30. That's £18. You can get tickets for that from Si, unless it's sold out, of course. Friday the 26th, The Doctors, prog and folk rock at the Con Club, 9 p.m, and again, I don't have a price on that one. Saturday the 27th sees Matt Quinn and Owen Woods, traditional folk, CD launch at the Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m, and £7. And Loose Caboose doing Northern Soul DJ night at the Con Club, 9 p.m, and again, no price on there. And Monday the 29th sees Sarah Oshlag, Jazz at the Snowdrop, 8 p.m, and it's free. If you missed any of that, I'll give it out again later on in the show, but now on with the music, and this is Teardrop Explodes.
All right, I'm the same.
That was Reward from 1981. The song hit number 6 on the UK singles charts. I haven't got a great deal of information to hand on that one, so we'll just move on, shall we, to XTC and Plans for Nigel.
We're only making plans for Nigel. We only want what's best for him. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel just needs that helping hand. And if young Nigel says he's happy, he must be happy, he must be happy, he must be happy in his world. We're only making plans for Nigel. He has this future in a British steel. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel's whole future is as good as sealed. Yeah, and if young Nigel says he's happy, he must be happy, he must be happy, he must be happy in his world. Nigel is an outspoken man, he likes to speak and he loves to be spoken to. Nigel is happy in his world. Nigel is happy in his world. We're only making plans for Nigel. We only want what's best for him. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel just needs this helping hand. And if young Nigel says he's happy, he must be happy, he must be happy, he must be happy in his world. We're only making plans for Nigel. We only want what's best for him. We're only making plans for Nigel. Nigel just needs this helping hand. We're only making plans for Nigel. He has this future in a British steel. We're only making plans for Nigel.
The lead single from the 1979 album Drums and Wires, Making Plans for Nigel. It reached number 17 on the UK singles charts. Now I've got the first of our 3 interviews for you. This one is Ian Ruskin talking about his one-man play To Begin the World Over Again, about the life and times of Thomas Paine. It's coming to Lewes on the 27th of April. And he had a chat by phone with our own John Russell.
there's a unique opportunity to hear the words of Thomas Paine and explore the ideas of this 18th century political philosopher when actor Ian Ruskin brings his production Thomas Paine's To Begin the World Over Again. And here's a sample.
There were those in the America of my time, and I believe perhaps in the America of your time, who were beginning to contemplate government as a profitable monopoly, to take money to the rich from the cost of the rest of us. See, John Adams, he said that America, the United States, should be governed by a few of the most wise and best, the rich and well-born and able. Alexander Hamilton said that the rich and well-born should have a distinct permanent place in government to check the imprudence of democracy. A republic must be a republic not just in principles, but in reality.
Leaping from the stage, delighting audiences in America, Ian Ruskin's acclaimed one-man play brings Thomas Paine home to Lewes, where his eloquence as a debater became finely tuned 250 years ago. Paine went on to change the world with the wit and vision of his pen. He was one of the world's greatest writers and worst politicians. Would it prove to be a deadly combination? It's one of the questions that Ian Ruskin poses in his new play, Thomas Paine's To Begin the World Over Again. Now, I'm very pleased to welcome Ian Ruskin on the line from Los Angeles, because, of course, Tom Paine spent part of his earlier life in Lewes, and in fact had a connection with Westgate Chapel, which is where Radio Lewes is actually based. And it's called the Thomas Paine's To Begin the World Over Again. Now, how did this come about, Ian? Well, what's the genesis of the idea?
Well, what happened was, I'm an actor living in English actor, obviously living in Los Angeles. I had written a one-man play about an Australian Labour leader who came to California called Harry Bridges. And he was a very visionary left-wing Labour leader, and I really was very inspired by his political philosophy. And then someone having seen, in fact, 3 different people within a weekend, having seen the play about Harry Bridges, said to me, well, you should do a play about Thomas Paine. And I did not know very much about Thomas Paine. And I read one biography and was completely hooked on the man. Just one of the most fascinating, I think, characters in history. There's a connection to Harry Bridges in that I'm now spending my life, it seems, writing plays about men from American and European history who are greatly misunderstood.
Right, yeah.
And have never, if you like, got their just deserts for their contributions to the world. And Paine certainly fits into that category. I mean, the more I read about him, the more amazed I was by his political positions, by the way his mind worked politically, in the the second half of the 1700s. And the more fascinated I became by his life. He was a very interesting, complex man, which I certainly think and hope comes through in the play. But it was those original 3 people who, say, in the space of a weekend, all said, well, you should do Thomas Paine next. And that was actually what led me to Thomas Paine.
Where do we get tickets? That's the important thing that people want to know.
Yes. The Union Music Store.
Oh, yeah, that's Dell down
at... everyone in Lewes knows.
Well, we've got a very close connection with Dell, yeah.
The Lewes Tourist Information Centre.
Yeah, the TIC.
Which I'm sure everyone knows.
Yeah.
And also wegottickets.com.
Okay, yeah.
So, if you want to get them online as opposed to going and buying them, those are the 3 sites. They actually have the tickets. The tickets have arrived.
Good.
There will be posters and flyers going up around the town.
Uh-huh.
I have a dear friend who lives in Lewes who's doing that for me. But yeah, the tickets are those 3 venues. So go buy them.
So Thomas Paine is indeed coming home to Lewes. That's at the All Saints Centre on April the 27th this year at 7:30 p.m. Ian Ruskin's Tom Paine's To Begin the World Over Again.
So just a recap there, that is To Begin the World Over Again by Ian Ruskin, and it is coming to Lewes, the All Saints Centre, on the 27th of April at 7:30. Tickets are £12 and £8 for the under-25s, which is an interesting move, trying to get a bit of culture to the younger people. And they're available at the Union Music Store, Lewes Tourist Information Centre, and wegottickets.com. My guest has arrived, and I'll introduce him after a bit more music. The Stranglers and No More Heroes. Good morning, Nate.
Morning, how you doing?
I'm
Nice to be
good.
here.
I'm good. Nate came in yesterday to do some recording and filming for a couple of singles from your upcoming new album.
Thank you very much for letting us in. It was a fantastic experience, really enjoyed it.
And I shall be looking forward to seeing the results of those videos. We've
Nice
got
one.
some of your music that's coming up from this album
Brilliant.
in the next hour. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's nice to be out and about and talking to yourself and out the studio. I've been in there for like 2 years, it seems, pretty much putting this album together. So it's nice to have a bit of sanity back, to be honest, and
Well,
get my life back.
we haven't seen you here for a little over a year. You came in and did a live session for us.
Yeah.
And sadly, that wasn't one of the best attended gigs we had, but the sound-wise, it was wonderful.
The sound was amazing. Do you know what, though? You were all saying that last gig, but I didn't feel that way. I felt there was still a decent crowd there, and I always think quality is better than quantity, and since that gig, I've had quite a few fans stick in touch with me and keep up to what I was doing, so it was well worth it, and I wouldn't put the quantity of the crowd down. They were amazing, in my opinion.
Well, in that case, what we're doing is working, and I'm very pleased to hear it. I just feel that, you come in, you put on a show for free, and people should support it.
It's like, but you can never guarantee what people are going to do, can you? All you can do is try your best and put on a good show and hope that word gets around and people want to turn up. You can't hold a gun to people's heads and make them come, unfortunately.
No, you can't, of course.
That would be a nice plan B.
I'm not sure how that would go down legally.
No, that's true. Might be a few repercussions there. But do you know what? If anyone just enjoys the music I do, then I feel blessed, to be honest. I don't expect anything from anybody or have any sort of assumptions before I go into anywhere. It'd be nice if you've got a full gig, and that's what, obviously, as an artist, I work towards and what I would like to happen, but sometimes it's not always meant to be. So I try and be grateful and appreciative of anybody who likes my music and enjoys what I'm doing.
Well, you've got a couple of very interesting things coming up, haven't you?
Yes.
I was looking at your website because I wanted the release date for your album. That's Monday, isn't it?
This Monday, the 15th, yeah.
Yes. And I see that you are supporting US soul singer Heidi Burson.
I am indeed, yeah.
Into July. Is that at Rotherfield again?
That's at Rotherfield at the King's Arms, yeah, for their summer festival.
That is really gaining a little bit of...
Yeah, it's getting there.
notoriety, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting bigger every year. Yeah, I headlined it last year with my band, so I have to pass on the baton this year to Heidi, but I know she'll do an amazing job. She's a phenomenal artist.
Yeah, sadly, we were away. We couldn't actually make it. But you're also headlining Angel Fest.
Angel Fest in Tunbridge, yeah, on the 25th of May, I believe.
It is. And, of course, the album, which is launched on the 15th.
Yeah.
And we've got some of that here. You very kindly gave me 4 of the singles that will be released, and we'll play some of that a bit later.
I just mentioned as well, I've got an album launch on the 21st of April at the King's Arms next Sunday, Bank Holiday Sunday, if anyone wants to come down. Starts at 8:30. We're going to play the whole album and then 2 hours worth of music on top
You're
of that.
You're going to do a 3-hour set?
3-hour set, yeah. That's pretty normal, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
We're lucky if we can get most bands to do an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got, with the band that play with me, I've got just over 2 hours worth of originals, and we fill in about 45 minutes to an hour of covers afterwards.
Oh, brilliant. We'll have to get along to that one.
It's a bigger show. Yeah, we like to work hard and go all night. It's getting us off the stage, that's the problem, not getting us on.
Right, okay. It's getting on for 11 o'clock, folks. We're going to have a bit more music, and we'll have the news coming up at 11, and then we will play some of Nate's wonderful music.
Boys,
Hersham Boys from Sham 69, English punk, from 1979. And it was on the album Adventures of the Hersham Boys. I haven't heard that in a while.
No, me neither.
It's one of those... they're one of those punk bands that don't get mixed in with everybody else very much. So
You don't hear much about them these days, do you? They're not sort of like one of the go-to ones, like the Sex Pistols or the other synonymous ones, which seem to have a bit more longevity in people's minds these days.
This is a collection called Teenage Kicks, and it's the only one that Sham 69 are on that I've got.
Right, yeah.
Okay, where's the time? We got about 5 or 6 minutes. We got time for some more music, but I think we're going to have the second of today's interviews instead. And this is a multi-instrumentalist artist who uses sound and vision, Philip Clemo, who is also coming to Lewes.
Radio Lewes. Local webcasting for a worldwide audience.
Hello, this is John Russell in the Radio Lewes studio. It's my great pleasure to welcome Phil Clemo on the line. Hi, Phil.
Hi there, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. Now, you were in Lewes in 2017 at the Con Club, and you're coming back this year, and you're appearing at the Depot on the 9th of May.
I am indeed.
What are you going to be doing there, Phil?
Well, I'm going to be playing with a 6-piece band, an amazing bunch of musicians, and we're going to be playing a series of pieces that each one has its own visual identity as well. So visual imagery is a really important part of what we do live, and each piece, as I say, will have its own related imagery, which will be changing depending on what we're doing on the night.
Fantastic. And people can see what that's all about by visiting your website, which is Philip Clemo, 1L in the Philip, .com. And where can people get tickets?
They can get tickets through my website. On the front page of my website, I should just say, for anyone who doesn't know, the spelling of my surname is C-L-E-M-O. And they go to my website. On the front page, there's links to the 3 little concerts, or 3 mini tour concerts that I'm doing in May. And then they can also go directly to any of the websites of the individual venues.
Brilliant. I should have said normal spelling for Clemo, shouldn't I? Anyway, that's Philip with 1L, Clemo, CLEMO.com for the tickets, and that's at the Depot on the 9th of May. Thanks for talking to us, Phil.
You're very welcome.
Radio Lewes. Local webcasting for a worldwide audience.
All
Stiff little fingers there, and at the edge. Now that's the church bells I can hear, so we're going to try and raise Alexa to see if she's not sulking, so we can have a news break. Alexa, can we have news headlines, please?
Here's your news. In weather, currently, in Lewes it's 7 degrees Celsius with partly sunny skies. Today, you can expect clouds with a chance of showers, with a high of 8 degrees and a low of 1 degree. From BBC Sports News.
The latest BBC Sport update.
Ian Poulter's 2 shots off the lead at the Masters, but he says he only gives himself a 3% chance of winning a golf's first major of the season. 5 players, including former Masters champion Louis Oosthuizen and Adam Scott, are tied for the lead at 7 under par.
I think it's going to be an incredible weekend no matter what happens now. There are so many great players in with a chance, and hopefully the putter can warm up a little bit. A hot putter will go a long way on the weekend.
Well, Tiger Woods is 1 shot behind Scott and the rest of the leaders. He feels he's right where he needs to be heading into today's 3rd round. More Masters reaction and analysis in the latest The Cut podcast. It's available on BBC Sounds right now. Mercedes' Valtteri Bottas will start tomorrow's Chinese Grand Prix on pole. Lewis Hamilton was 2nd fastest in qualifying, with Ferrari Sebastian Vettel 3rd quickest. Hamilton very happy with his performance.
I didn't give up. I kept pushing right to the end. Big congratulations to Valtteri. He's been stellar all weekend, and I'd been struggling and fighting the car all weekend, and we've been chipping away at it. But I was I'm much happier with, it was 8 tenths at one stage, the gap between us. So to be as close as we were, as we are at the end, is fantastic.
Newcastle United are 10 points clear of the relegation zone after they beat Leicester 1-0 last night. Cardiff are 5 points from safety. They go to Burnley. It's here on 5 Live from 3 o'clock this afternoon. The Cardiff boss, Neil Warnock, feels like they're running out of time to save themselves.
They've nothing to lose now, have they? They've got the points, so they can actually play with a far more relaxing attitude, really. You'd far more be in their camp than ours. I don't want to finish with a whimper. I want us to try and finish by putting people under pressure.
Before Burnley-Cardiff, we've got commentary of Spurs against Huddersfield at 12:30. A win could move Mauricio Pochettino's Spurs up to 3rd in the table. Leicester Tigers coach Jordan Murphy feels they're not safe from Premiership relegation just yet. That's despite winning 27-22 at fellow strugglers Newcastle last night.
I've said all along I didn't think this game would be the deciding factor. I never thought we'd be going down, to be quite honest. We've got 3 games to play and we've got 15 points on the table, and it's an incredibly condensed midsection of that table, so there will be opportunities to go higher, I think. There's also opportunities if you don't play well and you don't perform that you could go down.
Anthony Croller says he lost to a special fighter and that he'll take some time out before deciding whether to fight again. That's after he was stopped in the 4th round of his lightweight world title fight against Vasyl Lomachenko in Los Angeles in the early hours of this morning. 28 horses are scheduled to line up in the Scottish Grand National at Ayr at 3:35 this afternoon. The field, headed by Vintage Clouds, a first fence faller in the Aintree Grand National last weekend. And Ellie Downey took silver in the all-around event at the European Gymnastics Championships last night. That's the latest from BBC Sport.
BBC Sport. From BBC News.
The BBC.
More than 70 MPs and peers have signed a letter urging the government to support the Swedish authorities if they request the extradition of Julian Assange. The founder of WikiLeaks is facing rape and sexual assault allegations there, which he denies. Here's our political correspondent, Jonathan Blake.
The letter, signed by mostly Labour MPs, urges the Home Secretary to stand with the victims of sexual violence and ensure the case against Julian Assange can be properly investigated. The MPs warn of a risk of injustice if the UK does not cooperate with any request to extradite Mr Assange to Sweden.
NHS England says a scheme designed to free up GPs' time so they can spend more time with patients has led to more than 1 million extra doctors' appointments so far. It's been running in some places since 2016 and encourages practices to work differently. It'll be rolled out more widely now. A British man's due in court in Australia later, accused of violent assault less than 24 hours after arriving in the country. Police say the 35-year-old attacked a 59-year-old man before stealing his phone near Bondi Beach. President Trump says he intends to release illegal immigrants who've been detained into Democrat-controlled towns and cities in retaliation for the party's opposition to his immigration policies. The Democrats have called his plan warped. Scientists have developed a new type of medicine which can reverse a potentially fatal disease that leaves people in crippling pain. It works by fine-tuning instructions in DNA to control porphyria, but experts say it could be used to treat Parkinson's disease or Alzheimer's in future. A ceremony will take place in India later to mark the century of the Amistar massacre, in which up to 1,000 people were killed. In 1919, British troops opened fire on a crowd of unarmed civilians taking part in a peaceful protest. Jagjit Kaur Kohli's relatives survived the attack.
They should own it, they should admit it, that it was wrong and it was cruel. They should own it, that one of their officers did it wrongly, whether it was done by the orders of the government or he acted it of his own. And I think when you own your mistake, the apology comes in it.
Almost 30,000 football fans turned out for a fundraising match in Dublin last night to help an injured Liverpool fan. The money will go towards the care of Sean Cox, who suffered a serious brain injury when he was attacked by a Roma supporter outside Anfield last year.
BBC News.
That's all for now.
It's always helpful when Alexa doesn't sulk. You're listening to Radio Lewis, where the music matters, and this is Saturday Live. I'm Ben Fuller, and I'm very pleased to have Nate Austin on the show.
Hi.
We're going to play some of your album.
Awesome.
It's released on Monday. What's it called, and where can we get it from?
It's called Reborn. You can purchase it from iTunes or stream it on Spotify and all other digital platforms, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Napster, if anyone's still using that. Apparently they are, by statistics, but I don't know who they are.
Well, I urge everyone to go out and buy a copy because, from what I've heard, it really is fantastic. And we're going to play one of the tunes that you shot some footage for yesterday, and it's called...
Goodbye, My Friend.
Goodbye, My Friend.
So I guess I've heard you're leaving, and I don't think that was planned. So goodbye, my friend, till we meet again. I know God's found his man. I remember all your stories and the good times that we had. All the things we shared and the life you led. I hope I'll make you glad. Oh, tell me if you hear me now. I know that you can. So goodbye, my friend, till we meet again. We will in another land. You know of you, I'm always thinking, and not a day goes by that I don't. But I know that you're taking real good care of all the lives you touch. my friend, till we meet again. We will in another land.
That is a beautiful song, Nate.
Thank you.
I've heard 2 versions of this now, because I sat in while you were recording yesterday, and you only had piano.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was a combination of the sound of the piano and the chapel together, but it's a really haunting sound, and it's beautiful. So videos are not available yet, but where will people be able to?
They're going to go on my Facebook, YouTube pages, my website as well, www.nateaustinmusic.com, facebook.com/nateaustinmusic, youtube.com/nateaustinmusic. And I'm hoping to get them back this week from the edit, and probably as soon as I've got them out, I'll put them out.
Well, if you send us the links, we'll publish them.
Perfect, thank you. Watch this space. I mean, I'm hoping for it to arrive within the next 7 days would be ideal.
I'm really hoping that the rest of the album is as good. I mean, we've got 4 tracks here today, and I'm really hoping the rest of the album follows suit. I'm sure it will.
I hope you think so too.
My wife Dawn absolutely loved listening to you recording yesterday, so I know she's going to buy one. So we'll play another one before we go back to the regular playlist and all the other stuff we do, and we'll fill in with a couple of more later on. This one is Pining.
When I was younger, I stumbled across a younger who had the blues. They didn't seem much sweetness left. She was cold than ice and her lips were all blue, and she wasn't fond of an embrace. No illusion to for you. I was pining, I was pining, I was pining for you. What was I supposed to do? I was pining, and the Lord He finds you. Oh, He says He feels for you, and that nobody finds for you. Oh, if I was without a more casual man, I'd probably say something to soothe, like try to appease a friend. Oh, and I like to say that I could see something that made me think fondly of her. And there's not much kindness left. I was pining, I was pining, I was pining for you. What was I supposed to do? I was pining, and the Lord He finds you. Oh, He said He feels for you, and that nobody finds for you. I was pining, I was pining, I was pining for you. What was I supposed to do? I was pining, and the Lord He finds you. Oh, He says He feels for you, and that nobody finds for you.
I really like that. It reminds me of something, but I can't remember what. Don't you hate it when that happens? It's
a few people have heard the album so far and heard little things of it, and certain songs, that seems to be the consistent favourite.
Okay.
From what I'm hearing from people. Not always though, everyone's different, and that's the beauty of humanity, I guess. It's all subjective and everyone's different, but that's definitely a a firm fan favourite, I think. And it's when I play the shows, you can hear that one tends to get a bit more of a reaction and get sang a bit louder than the others by the crowd.
I know Dawn really likes Good Mama Friend. She said that put shivers down her spine when she heard that.
That's very flattering for her to say that.
And I know she likes Tell Me as well. I'm going to play her this disc again so she can hear pining again. We're going to go back to the main playlist now for a little while, and we're going to have a bit more of that, what I call shameless self-promotion, and talk about what we do here at Radio Lewes. I'll have the gig guide again at some point, because it's not very long. And we'll have some more from Nate. For now, this is the Buzzcocks. Great old favourite from the Buzzcocks, Ever Fallen in Love from 1978. That was a number 12 hit on the UK singles charts. Included on the album Love Bites. Love a bit of the Buzzcocks.
I do as well, a good band.
And a classic from Madness now on the wonderful Baggy Trousers.
Naughty boys in nasty schools, headmasters breaking all the rules, having fun and playing fools, smashing up the woodwork tools. All the teachers in the pub, passing round a ready rub, trying not to think of when that lunchtime bell will ring again. Oh, what fun we had, but did it really turn out bad? All I learnt at school was hasn't meant not break the rule. Oh, what fun we had, but at the time it seemed so bad, trying end with a plastic cup. Oh, what fun we had, but did it really turn out bad? All I learned at school was how to spin not break the rule. Oh, what fun we had, but at that time it seemed so bad. Trying different ways to make a difference to the days.
I'm so familiar with that song, I forget how old it is. 1980 that was. And
What classic.
a complete classic. Released as a single on September the 5th, 1980. Spent 20 weeks in the UK charts, reaching number 3. It was the 28th best-selling single in 1980 in the UK. And appeared on the album Absolutely. Never been a huge fan of Madness albums. But
No.
singles, they're phenomenal.
They've got some hits, haven't they?
They have indeed. Now then, I've got to find a bit of paper. So we're going to play another song. I was going to give you a little bit of our shameless self-promotion, but I can't remember what's on the disc. I'm having a really crappy day today. This is The Beat.
Mirror in the bathroom, please don't freak. The door is locked, just you and me. Can I take you to a restaurant that's got glass tables? You can watch yourself while you are eating. Mirror in the bathroom, I just can't stop it. Every Saturday you see me window shopping. Find no interest in the racks and shelves, just 1,000 reflections in my own sweet self. Mirror in the bathroom, you're my mirror in the bathroom. You're my mirror in the bathroom. You're my mirror in the bathroom. Mirror in the bathroom, recompense for all my crimes of self-defense. Cures you whisper, make no sense, drift gently into mental illness. Mirror in the bathroom, please talk free. The door is locked, just you and me. Can I take you to a restaurant that's got glass tables? You can watch yourself while you are eating. Mirror in the bathroom. 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 Mirror in the bathroom.
Now, another great tune I haven't heard for a while. That was The Beat, Mirror in the Bathroom. I think we're going to have one of our bits of shameless self-promotion now, although I don't know which one. I keep looking down the list. I think I'm going to blow my own trumpet. This is a rock spot. Right, Ben, come here. What do you want? Oh, I want to ask you about your rock show. You've been badgering me about all mine, and I thought it's about time you had yours done. So, right, tell me about your rock show. What's it all about? My rock show, it's about bringing fantastic rock music to a wider audience. Simple as that. I try and find all the best new stuff. I still play all the old classic stuff. Well, you have to. And I bring my love of rock music to a wider audience. That's really all it is. I just want to prove to people that rock music is just not a loud, horrible noise like Motorhead. Was it not? Oh. So, why do you like rock music? Where did that come from? Actually, I was very, very young, and I was quite often babysat by my cousin Caroline, who was a huge AC/DC fan, and she used to play that to make me go to sleep. Oh, well, that's a good one. AC/DC were my lullabies. Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's cool. So, that was it. It was a great sound. I've loved it since I was a toddler.
That's cool. That's good. Well, I've been listening to it as well, and I've found a few things that I've not heard of before. Some of them I thought, oh, really? Is that rock? I mean, yeah, it's good. And as long as you keep finding it, you know, your mole does a good job for you.
My mole, yeah. He finds all sorts of stuff for me that I haven't got time to look for.
So keep on the good work and keep on rocking.
Absolutely.
That's it. Ta-da.
Is that it then?
That's it. I've got nothing else to say to you because it's just so good.
Oh,
I thought that'll do.
Okay.
Fed up with you chasing me. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To be told
And music there from the wonderful Adam and the Ants from 1980 in the album Kings of the Wild Frontier, released on the 3rd of November 1980. Peaked at number 2 at the UK singles charts in January 1981. I know he didn't deal very well with fame and all the pressures that go with being a very well-known recording artist, but his music still sounds fresh and he is still about. I'm going to give you the gig guide, and then shortly after that we're going to play some more of Nate's wonderful music from the new album Reborn, which, don't forget, you can get a copy of on Monday. So tonight I should say, is the second half of a series of charity gigs out at Iford Hall, the Leaky Buckets, doing charity gigs in aid of Chestnut Tree House. There's a cash bar and handmade pizzas at 7:30 and entrance is free. We do like a free gig. Tonight also, Cohen Braithwaite Kilcoyne, English traditional folk artist at Elephant and Castle at 8 p.m, £7. If you want more information, see page 49 in Viva Lewes. And Chelsea are punking the Con Club at 9 o'clock. I can't remember the price on that one. Sunday the 14th, Nick Turner's Space Rituals at the Con Club at 7:30, $16.50 a ticket. Again, more information available in Viva Lewes on page 47. Monday the 15th, Christabel doing Dream Pop at the Con Club, 7:30 and £18 a ticket. And if you like your jazz, Ben Clatworthy with the John Donaldson Trio are at the Snowdrop. That's 8 p.m. and our favourite price. Wednesday the 17th sees Johnny Dowd doing his alternative country at the Con Club at 7:30, and that's £15. Thursday the 18th, John Fairhurst is blues and rock set at the Con Club at 9 p.m. Price to be announced on that one, so I can't tell you. Friday the 19th sees Dennis Primmitt and Peter Mahoey. I think that's how you say his name. I'm sorry, Peter, if I've got it wrong. Background jazz at the Half Moon at Plumpton at 7 p.m. And again, that one's free. Saturday the 20th sees Songs for Spring, folk open night at the Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m. and £4 a ticket. Over 2 nights, Sunday the 21st and Monday the 22nd, the Sun Ra Orchestra legendary jazz troupe return to Lewes. They're at the Con Club at 8 p.m. and it's £22.50. Monday the 22nd sees Jeff Simpkins, jazz alto sax player at the Snowdrop at 8 p.m. and free. Tuesday the 23rd, Joey Landreth and Band, roots rock guitar and vocals at the Con Club at 7:30 and £15 for that one. And there's an English tunes practice session for any instrument, English traditional folk, at the Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m. That one's free. And don't be afraid, Si with his kazoo has been banned. I have that confirmed. Thursday the 25th, Slaughter and the Dogs, punk at the Con Club at 7:30 and £18. Friday the 26th, the Doctors, prog and folk rock at the Con Club, 9 p.m. Saturday the 27th sees Matt Quinn and Owen Woods, English traditional folk, with a CD launch at the Elephant and Castle, 8 p.m, £7 ticket for that. And Loose Caboose are doing their Northern Soul DJ night at the Con Club at 9 p.m. Finally, Monday the 29th sees Sarah Oshlag Jazz at the Snowdrop, 8 p.m, and it's free. And I must also tell you about one coming up here in May at Westgate. Melting Vinyl and Lewes Psychedelic Festival present Death and Vanilla, the cult Swedish trio, along with special guests and visuals by Inner Strings. They're here at Westgate Chapel at 7:30. Tickets are £12 online or £14 on the door, where possible. There is a booking fee applicable for advanced tickets. Not sure.
Sounds interesting, though, do?
Yeah, indeed. They're at ctickets.com online. They're going to bring their atmospheric psych pop to the intimate Westgate Chapel in celebration of their latest release, Are You a Dreamer, available on Fire Records. More information at meltingvinyl.co.uk, westgatemeeting.com and deathandvanillamusic.bandcamp.com. That's sure to be a great night.
I can imagine that chapel's going to be a phenomenal setting for that.
So do I.
I'm really interested to come down for that. What date? Can you remind me what date it is?
It's Thursday the 30th of May. Doors at 7:30 and tickets £12 in advance or £14 on the door.
That's a bit different, isn't it?
It is a bit different.
I like the sound of
that. We've had people in from Russia, but we've never had them in from Sweden, so that'll be interesting.
Wow.
Let's have another one of yours, Nate. What's next on the playlist?
We're going to go for Reborn next, I believe.
That's the title of the album.
That's the title track.
Now at last my head is wise and I feel cleaner. You can see these things if you knock at my door. You can look me in the eyes, but you would never recognize the way I stood in front of you before. I am reborn. Now my scars are thorns. Oh, my past I shall not mourn. I said 'cause I am reborn. I am reborn. Now my scars are thorns. Oh, my past I shall not mourn. I said 'cause I am reborn. Looking back through all the times I kept on trying, when I couldn't find the strength to make a sound. But I knew I had to try and cut those shackles that you tied. And now there's no more way you'll let me down. I am reborn. Now my scars are thorns. Oh, my past I shall not mourn. I say 'cause I am reborn.
The more I hear that, the more I like it.
Thanks.
We were chatting there while that was playing that you preferred the version we did yesterday.
Yeah, I think
with just
so.
the piano.
I do, yeah, it's just that natural emotion. I think, do you know what it is? I've just spent so long immersed with this record. It's just so nice to hear something different yesterday and a different twist in it. I've heard every tiny nuance of this record, producing it myself over the last few months, and it's driven me close to madness.
I can imagine. I guess you must get driven mad by nitpicking on things that you think are wrong with it when everyone else thinks it's great.
Exactly that, yeah. But if I've done it before, I've released music and I've heard slightly things, and I'm not happy with it as a result.
Yeah.
And it eats away at me every time I hear the record or it's played, and no one else can have a faintest idea what I'm on about. I can't tell, but
well, you know it's there, so that's why it makes a difference.
Yeah, so I think yesterday I really enjoyed just being out of the studio, being with people, which I'd forgotten about for quite a long time, and being in that setting of that phenomenal chapel with that history, with phenomenal piano player playing with me, and just the occasion. I think a combination of all those factors played a play there, and that's why I liked it a bit more.
Well, it was certainly an experience for me. I've never been present when a song has been laid down like that.
Right.
So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
And it was a joy to listen to as well, even if Sean did make a few mistakes on the last one.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that.
He got it right in the end, though.
He
folks.
did, yeah.
He did a sterling job.
He did, he was amazing. Yeah, he's a very talented guy.
We've got one more of yours to come up in 5 minutes or so. We're going to take another one from the current playlist, and I think this is Martha and the Muffins. It better be, because I like Echo Beach. Oh, that is a great track. Martha and the Muffins there from 1979. Written by band member Mark Kane, released as a single from their album Metro Music in 1980 and won the Juno Award for Single of the Year.
I love that name, Martha and the Muffins.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, what a name that is.
I can't give you a chart position, though, considering it got the Juno Award. Oh, it reached number 10 in the UK, but I haven't got the Canadian one there. Oh, it's a great tune. I haven't heard that for ages. And talking of great tunes, we've got one more of yours, and I happen to know that this is Dawn's particular favourite.
Nice.
This is Tell Me.
From the moment you came, I saw you walk through the door. You had me playing crazy, begging for more. From the weight of your thighs to the pain on your lips, you have no deal of all the trouble I'm in. The electricity's high, anticipation is on. You best believe me, there's nowhere that it's going, and I wanted to try a thing that is so. Come on and tell me what I'm ready to know. Tell me that you want it. Tell me that you need it. Tell me now that you're prepared to cross that line. Tell me that you've got it. Tell me that you give it. consequence of what I have seen. All I want is a moment to get you alone. Just let me take you to the central zone. And I don't wanna wait or be playing a game. Come on and let me try and have it my way. Tell me that you want it. Tell me that you need it. Tell me now that you're prepared to cross that line. Tell me that you've got it. Tell me that you give it. Tell me that you do the things that blow my mind. Baby, you're the chronic. You can be my tonic. You can be the one to help me through this life. Tell me that you want it. Tell me that you want it. Tell me that you're into making love all night. Oh, love all night. We swim in dirty water. I just can't wait much longer. 1 + 1, 2 is stronger. Tell me that you want it. Tell me that you need it. Tell me now that you're prepared to cross that line. Tell me that you've got it. Tell me that you give it. Tell me that you do the things that blow my mind. Baby, you're the chronic. You can be my tonic. You can be the one to help me cross this line. Tell me that you want it. Tell me that you want it. Tell me that you're into making love tonight. Love tonight.
Oh, I can see why that one is so popular. And I really do wish you the best of luck with this album release.
Thank you, Ben.
Like I said, I know the missus is going to be buying a copy.
Nice one.
So I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of it. And good luck with the future.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for always supporting me as well. You've been so kind and helpful to me over the years. And
It's part of my
means the
mission
world to
here
me.
at Radio Lewes is to give as much help to local musicians as possible.
Well, you're definitely achieving that. Thank you so much.
And
I'll
you know,
forever be grateful.
You know, you've done a gig for us. Hopefully, you'll be back later this year and do another one
Without
here.
doubt.
And we're always open to supporting artists and putting this building at their disposal as well because it gets it used. So, Nate's album is released on Monday and it's available on iTunes and available to stream all over the place. I urge you to give it a listen. It will be fantastic if those are anything to go by. Now, we've only got about 10 minutes left, I'm afraid. This is Saturday Live. It's on for 2 hours and we're running out of time. It's always a shame when that happens, but this is The Cure and Boys Don't Cry because we're not going to cry about it.
I would say I'm sorry if I thought that it would change your mind, but I know that this
That was The Cure from 1984, I think. I was chatting there and I forgot to look up the wiki page for it. No, it wasn't. It was 1979. Look at that. Three Imaginary Boys was the name of the album. And I can't see a chart position. I told you this was going to be chaotic today, didn't I? Never mind. We are still on the air, so we're going to play you some more music. And I think it's going to be The Damned and New Rose. Leastways, I hope it is.
Is she really going out with him?
Like a stormy sea. I don't know why. I guess these things have gotta be. I've got a new rose, I've got a good. Yes, I knew that I always would. I can't stop to mess around. I got a brand new rose in town. See the sun, it shines. Don't get too close or it'll burn your eyes. Don't you run away that way. You can come back another day. I've got a new rose, I've got a good. Yes, I knew that I always would. I can't stop to mess around. I got a brand new rose in town. I never thought this could happen to me. I feel so strange. Oh, why should it be? I don't deserve somebody this great. I better go, or it'll be too late. Strange like a stormy sea. I don't know why. I guess these things have gotta be. I got a new rose, I got a good. Yes, I knew that I always would. I can't stop to mess around. I got a brand new rose in town. Whoa.
Oh, the wonderful New Rose from The Damned from 1977. Considered to be the first single by The Damned.
Really? Didn't know that.
Neither did I. Of course, it's Wikipedia, so it could be wrong. From their first full-length debut album, Damned. And the deadpan intro, that is a parody of the 1964 Shangri-La song, Leader of the Pack. Anyway, it's a great tune, and we got time for a couple more. So we're going to find something from Generation X, I hope. And this should be Valley of the Dolls. That's not Valley of the Dolls, is it? Never mind, that's the Sex Pistols. I didn't mean to play that, but never mind. That was the Sex Pistols, of course, from Nevermind the What's It's. And from 1977. And that's it. It's 12 o'clock. We're out of time. So, Nate, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Ben. It's been a pleasure.
You're always welcome. We're going to leave you with the Lambrettas and Poison Ivy. You've been listening to Saturday Live here on Radio Lewes, where the music matters. I've been Ben Fuller. I'm sorry it's been a bit chaotic. I'll try and get my head in gear for the next one. Swazi should be in the hot seat next week. But for now, this is Poison Ivy. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Twice. I'm in love with rock and roll, and I'll be out all night road. That's right. Okay, now you say bottom lovers. I got the AO. Got the car, got the AO. Got the AM sound. Got the rock and bottom neon sound. I got the car from Massachusetts. I got the power of Massachusetts when it's late at night. I got the modern sounds of modern Massachusetts. I got the world and got the church pipe. I got the power of the AM. Got the lady line, lit up white, rock and roll, lady line, New York. The factories and the on the side. I got the power of the Boston sound. All right. Right. Bye-bye.
Radio Lewes. Local webcasting for a worldwide audience.